Can somebody read question 9? Oh, I love this question.
The reason racism is a feminist issue is easily explained by the inherent definition of feminism. Feminism is the political theory and practice to free all women, women of color, working class women, poor women, physically challenged women, lesbians, old women, as well as white, economically privileged, heterosexual women. That's a lot. Anything less than this is not feminism, but merely female self aggrandizement. Barbara Smith. In 3, and when you leave, take your damn pictures with you. No, racism in the women's movement. That was a good one. Q, Bonnie Raitt. I can't make you love me. I believe everything is everything. And painful lessons we learn in one area of our lives, often our love lives, typically have wide applicability in other areas of our lives if we make the connections. How does this song, I Can't Make You Love Me, speak to the pain and separations between women of color and white women expressed in part 3? And when you leave, take your pictures with you. Racism in the women's movement. Again, using love, all types of love, as an analogy, what have you learned from the love in your life that you believe applies to the situation today's protesters speak to about the indiscriminate taking of Black life?
All right. Does everybody know the song? Now I can't sing. Oh, Kim is a singer. Kim, give us a few bars. I can't make you love me.
I don't know that song.
I can't make you love me if you don't. I can't make your heart feel something that it won't.
Okay.
Well, let that be an assignment for everybody tonight to download that song and listen to the words.
Yes, download that song and listen.
You sound so drunk. Oh, I love
it. That was not me singing. That
wasn't you.
No, but I can't make you love me if you don't. I can't make your heart feel something that it won't. So here in the night, in these final hours, I will lay down my heart and I'll feel the power, but you won't. No, you won't. So we all have some love in our life. Our mamas loved us. Our papas loved us. I can't say what our siblings may have been feeling.
Come.
But we have some experience with love. But so why don't you guys get started on that question? What have you learned from love that has some applicability in current events?
Can I just say one thing? It's 7 o'clock here in Brooklyn, and so everyone on this block, they're outside beating their pans and everything to acknowledge frontline workers. So I just want to take a second to acknowledge them too, even in this video. So now we can go back to our question. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. Anybody want to go first?
Why don't you start us off, Nicole?
Okay. So what have I learned about love in my life, and how might it be applicable to what's happening today regarding protests, the killing of George Floyd, and so forth? I guess I think where I'm leaning toward, and I've shared this with you all probably a million times now, that my pedagogy, my theology, it's liberation, right? And that's that's where I am today. It's about freedom. And so I'm just thinking through like love as a liberatory praxis and how the things that I love, I want to be in full service of the liberation of those people, and so on and so forth. And so I just see this as I can draw a through line from what I believe theoretically to the practice protesting. I mean, when I listened to the CNN interviewed one of the young men, and he was just like, "It's going to stop today. Like, we're not going to keep doing this." And I understood it to be the quotidian violence, the ritual assault, the ways in which we always have these kind of grief cycles because we're watching these public lynchings or we're hearing about Black people being lynched and so forth. So I think that lines up. There's a symmetry there with the way that I view and I think of love.
Thank you.
I think that it's a major thing that's motivating people. I happen to work almost in exclusive spaces with people who are interested in making the world work for more people. And one of the things that I'm hearing from people who are actually going to these protests is they have been surprised. These people who have been going to protests for decades about the number of young people who are at these protests, who are there in support. And then we're also seeing things like the image that was shared of the white people standing in front. And also last night in DC, there's a story going around a man, an Indian American man, who had 60 protesters sleep in his house last night because they had been cornered by police. And these are all examples of what beloved community is. That's what beloved community is. It's about interdependence and not about individual reach. And so I don't think it's acknowledged enough about how love is a counter narrative to almost every other system that's out there. It's, like the kind of capitalism that we've been talking about. To respond to that kind of capitalism with the idea of love or liberation is a counter narrative. It's not expected. So it seems to be at the center of it and has a lot of different types of expression. And it only gets stronger the more people who find a way to express it.
In terms of that song, I Can't Make You Love Me If You Don't. That is something that I have learned from my own love life. And it's a painful lesson, of course, as most lessons are. But when you reach that point of acceptance that it is what it is and you can't change it, it frees your mind to start moving in another direction. No matter how hard you have tried to make something into what you wanted it to be. And so I kind of feel like that about Black people in America, that at some basic level, we have been begging for love, just wanting to be seen and treated as human beings, just wanting the basic dignity to which we feel entitled as human beings, and further entitled as American citizens. And having that basic plea rebuffed at every turn. And so I have mixed feelings about the protest. On the one hand, you know, I've got that measure of pride in the young people that are absolutely risking everything to stand up and say, you know, enough is enough. No justice, no peace. Hands up, don't shoot. They are warriors. They are phenomenal. On the other side, I am extremely worried about them because I know that we're dealing with the devil here. Literally. He got orange hair. You know, if you didn't know what the devil looked like, now you know. We're talking about a man who is willing to pull a law out of 1807 to crush this shit. Now, where were Black folk in 1807? We're talking about a man that's been talking about taking his country back. We don't know to where, but we know that wherever he wants to go, we don't want to be there because it was not good for us, because we have not been loved in this country. So what do you do with that? You know, how many decades, how many centuries do you keep pleading for the same treatment that you're obviously capable? I mean, how many times do we see examples of the police who can act one way with white people and a whole nother way with us? So you got it in you. You know how to treat humans. You don't see us as humans. So yeah, I think that's where we are. What do you do when you accept the love that you want is not going to manifest?
I guess for me, I don't see it as love at all. And it feels like America keeps writing this check that keeps bouncing. And at some point, you're going to have to pay for this bounce check. And I do understand that the love part could be this need to assimilate to the white standard. But for me, this country owes me and my people and my ancestors a great deal, and I want it. And so I don't need to be your friend. I don't need to be bug lovey, kissy, huggy, nothing. And I like the idea of, you know, the song for me is God bless the child has got his own. So how do you find your own within a country that does not respect you and does not value you? And so that for me is what I struggle with, is how do you get power when people are up at night taking that same power away from you? Because we as people of color have unified so many times, and so many times we have been tripped up, challenged, laws have been passed to break whatever united fronts that we come up with. So my whole thing is that we just have to fight stronger, harder, And I love, Michelle, when you're always talking about your 500-year plan, because I think that's necessary. I think that I think that we need to stop playing checkers and play chess. That at some point, there are going to be more of us than there are of them. It's going to happen within 20 years or 30 years. So I think this is more a strategy thing for me than you not loving me, you not, letting me snuggle up to you at night. I don't need to snuggle with you.
I want to hear from my nephew Showtime. He's a married man, been married. How long you been married now, Show? You're muted.
13 years now.
Wow. Drop that knowledge, baby.
Well, for me, I've learned a lot. If we're speaking in reference to this love thing, you know what I mean? It's really just sacrifice, you know what I mean? And patience. And I've had to sacrifice a lot, even, I feel like in regards to what we're talking about, it takes a lot of sacrifice, you know what I mean? And it's not necessarily fair, you get what I mean? But when you understand that, that love is, not going to be reciprocated, you have a choice to continue to show love, you know what I mean? Or you just going to be like, I'm kicking the door down, you feel me? So for me, it all depends, you know what I mean? I try to, spread love as much as possible, you know what I mean? Wherever I can, within my household, outside of my household, I've experienced, not having that love reciprocated, a lot of times in my life, you know what I mean? Even right now, I'm at a point to where I'm trying to start working as a respiratory therapist, and I've been at my job for 13 years, and I feel like the love is not being reciprocated. And what I mean is, I've been there for so long, it's like, all right, cool, I've started from the bottom as far as different positions going up, right? And I come to these people, and I was expecting them to be, arms open for one of their own, you know what I mean? And that's how we, in reference to what we're talking about, it's like, hey, we're American too, like arms open, what's going on, you know what I'm saying? But that love is not being reciprocated. So, as far as the job goes, I feel like I've been getting, the beat around. We don't have a position available right now, but I just seen a new person, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm talking to a couple of my peoples, and they coming like, nah, keep your foot on their neck, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to keep on whooping this. And I'm like, on one side, I'm like, nah, I don't want to be anywhere where I'm not welcome. I'm not about to deal with that. I don't want to have to look over my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? But on the other side, I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm kicking the door down. They going to accept me. And I think that's, you just have to find that balance, in the world in general. You know what I'm saying? And I think, that's what we're trying to do right now, as colored people. Is like, you know what? We've been waiting for so long. Like, we kicking the door down. You know what I'm saying? We kicking the door down, and y'all going to have to accept me. But, it's a slow walk. You know what I mean? It's a very slow walk. So, I try not to, I don't know, be consumed so much that it throws me off in my everyday life, because I still have a wife and 3 kids that I got to look after. I've dealt with anger issues before because of things going on in the world and outside of my place. It doesn't me personally, it don't do me no good, which is why when I was talking earlier, I'm saying, like, I'm aware of everything that's going on. It affects me, to a certain extent, but I also try to allow it not to affect me to a certain extent. I don't want it to take over because I know how it can get. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to Jared earlier, and he was like, just say that you was, out there early at the protest, busting windows. Now, and for us, it's different, So I'm out there. I done bust a couple windows. I done got locked up. I already have a record. Guess what? Everything that I just went to school for and paid all that stuff for, no respiratory therapy for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now,
right,
it may not
right.
be the same like that for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A white person or this, that, and the third. But I'm aware that it's like that for me. So I have to make, my choices based on that. Is it fair? It's not. But me personally, I just learned how to maneuver. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to maneuver out here. And I'm gonna get everything I got coming for me. You know what I'm saying? One way or another. That's how I look at it. It may take me longer. Whatever it's gonna be, whatever my slice of the pie is gonna be, I'm gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of, like you said earlier, I get that it is what it is type of mindset sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I still try to focus on the love though. I still try to spread love. You know what I'm saying? Because even if in my experience, even if you showing love to somebody who's not showing you love back, eventually you get that love is going to overwhelm them, and you're going to start breaking them down. You're going to break them down. You know what I'm saying? So, spread love.
Okay. Thank you, Showtime.
You're very welcome.
Anybody else want to speak to the love question?